Hey, it's been a while, you guys, but it's Popcorn Perspective. I finally just finished binge watching Peacemaker Season 2, and holy crap, what a fun show this is. I more or less want to get into more spoily stuff on what happened in the finale of Peacemaker Season 2, titled Full Nelson, and examine to see if the show stuck the landing. I know there's an online saying Gunn never misses in reference to James Gunn, but is this the first time the gun finally jammed? It's a stupid pun, but it works. Overall, this whole entire season has been a character study on the 11th Street Kids, the group of friends that Peacemaker made in season one, vigilante, ads, economist, Harcourt, etc. But it expands the universe of the DCU by introducing potential ideas or concepts that can be examined further in the movies or other shows down the road, such as an alternate dimension, such as portals that takes to other universes, also in regards of certain agencies that are founded within the season. So fast forward to the end of the show, the season finale, we have Peacemaker now currently, I guess, in prison through having one of those intergalactic portals that intergalactic portal that Rick Senior wanted to control, and Rick Flag Senior we know is returning from the Superman movie, who's the father of Rick Flag Jr., who was in the Suicide Squad movies. So it's cool to see the family integration on that end. We do actually get a Rick Jr. Cameo, which was hilarious. Such a fun scene that was earlier this season. But I mean, so he's in prison and the gang breaks him out. They were debating on how to break him out. They decided to use Vigilante's blood money to bail him out, which is all good and dandy, but kind of was weird because Senior's whole entire plan was to arrest Chris for killing his son. And the fact that they're able to just bail him out, and you didn't see Rick Senior once, worried, concerned, irritated, or pissed off at the fact that his number one suspect, or his number one, I guess you could say, nemesis with Chris Peacemaker, escaping jail with no harm, no foul, felt kind of weird. And then on top of that, we saw in the Superman movie that Flag Senior was willing to work with Superman. He was willing to allow Superman some autonomy. And we see in the Creature Commander show, Senior also worked with the Creature Commanders. He worked closely with Frankenstein, he worked closely with the Bride, he worked closely with G.I. Robot, and all these other goons and creatures that was within the show. Weasel, everyone in between. So it's kind of weird that now in this show he has a change of heart. He's now very anti uh, metahumans, and he finds Salvation, which is a planet in the DC comics, which basically they send metahuman villains to, which is utilizing the Salvation 1 comic and is building into most likely Darkseid, because Darkseid's minions, also the parademons, also grew up there and trained, and it's basically a bloodbath about to happen, which is all good, and it's going to be some interesting, epic stuff down the road. Most likely, Man of Tomorrow, next Superman movie, or what other projects Gunn has planned. But it feels very out of character for a character like Rick Senior, Rick Flag Senior, that we've seen now since Creature Commander, Superman, and now Peacemaker Season 2. I feel like it's a complete 180 from the character arc that we've seen him go through. He's now a Lex Luthor lackey. He's working with Lex Luthor's men. He's working with them to utilize Peacemaker's portal and identifying how to get in and out, and which doors are dangerous, which doors are not, breaking into other universes. But it's great. It's interesting that we get a Salvation 1 storyline down the road. But I feel like this whole season was just leading up to Salvation. And I feel like throughout the show, because we were doing a lot of character development on Chris, his family, with Keith, with his dad, with the Nazi universe. Yes, there is a Nazi universe in the show. The show is bonkers. But the final episode kind of just dropped all of that and just focused on exploring the portals, which was great and cool and sci-fi and cosmic and everything in between. It was fun, but it feels like it kind of forgot what the story was leading into, or it had its own idea of what the story should have been. Something that I guess none of us thought of. That said, we also getting Checkmate. Honestly did not think we'll get Checkmate this early on, or hell, I don't think any DC projects, DC movies, or shows up until this date, outside of like the DC animated movies, um, brought up Checkmate. So this is cool that we get the Checkmate agency. Seems like it's being ran by the 11th Street Kids. That's cool. Led by ads. I'm okay with that. Checkmate would be great. Can't wait to see how they integrate, or at least how they evolve. Because we know the characters from Checkmate, the superheroes or the super humans, the metahumans within it, are far different than the 11th Street Kids that we have right now. So I cannot wait to see what happens and how they, I guess, mesh with the overarching DC universe. With Argus still in the background, I can't wait to see how they play off each other. Another issue I have was Argus as a whole. Now we saw it in the first season of Peacemaker. Argus under Waller was more organized, more cutthroat, and people were more afraid to act up. The new Argus under Flag seems like a clown show. I feel like Argus is kind of a clown show. I mean, it's you have Langston Fury played by Tim Meadows. You have Agent Smiley. You have Flurries or Tim Meadows' character. He nicknames one of the characters Titties. So I mean, you have a bunch of these weird, funny characters in the show, but it felt like Argus was just very much a joke in this season compared to season one. It was disorganized. It was a mockery of what Argus should be, and I'm hoping Gunn can right the wrongs or make them more of a government organization, a more legitimate organization in the upcoming movies or shows. But I gotta say, even with the complaints that I have with the finale, it's not even complaints. It's more just question marks because it seems to be leading into the greater DCU, which I'm okay with. But I feel like it wasn't a conclusive finale for the Peacemaker character. So the standout characters in this show is obviously John Cena and Daniel Brooks' Abadayo. Those two stole nearly every episode, especially when Ads was talking to Vigilante in the season finale, urging him to use his money to save his best friend, or with Ads talking to Peacemaker and convincing Peacemaker to come back to the group. Some of the best acting I've seen her do all show long, and it was fantastic to watch. Same as Christopher, John Cena. In episode 7, he had that amazing heart to heart, deciding that he is the problem of the universe. Not his brother, not his dad, not his friends, not his family. It's him. And it was so heartwarming to see Peacemaker, for the first time ever, actually realize what harm has came across with his actions. Not most of this is not even his fault. Most of this is his father's fault from his universe. Most of this is the fault of the government or the fault of society and the way he's just been treated like trash, like vermin, which we see also amplified based on how much hate Rick Flag Sr. has for that character. We left episode 7 with him being arrested. We start episode 8 with him being arrested. We end episode 8 with him now being kicked out of our universe and being sent to salvation. Like I said, right when the character had a great character arc, great moment, he regained his friends, he regained the trust of his friends, and he's back out of the out of prison. It was a great conclusive ending for the character. But then throwing him back into salvation, I felt like was kind of double-sided. And then we have a new character here, which if you read the comics, you would know who she is. But Sasha Bordeaux, she is a cyborg, closely tied with the Gotham storylines, especially with Batman. So it's kind of cool to see her outside of that area and involved in with Argus, involved in with Peacemaker and Flurry and all of them. But she seems to be working double-sided with Flag Senior. She's sleeping with him. She's having romantic chemistry with him. But then immediately she has a 360 turn, and now she's anti what Flag Senior's doing. She doesn't want the metahuman prison because she's a cyborg. She sees that her life could potentially be a threat, which makes sense. But immediately she helps forms checkmate with the people that she's been hunting all show long, 11th Street Kids. So it felt kind of weird how immediately she made a 360. Hey, I'm hunting Chris. I'm hunting Peacemaker. Wait, now I'm going to team up with you. I'm going to team up with Peacemaker and form checkmate. Like I said, a lot of things just kind of happens. Same as Judo Master, but that makes more sense because Judo Master bonded with 11th Street Kids in episode 7, giving him a reason to want to leave Argus's agency and work with Chris's agency with Checkmate. That makes perfect sense. And then let's get to the meat, or not even the meat. Let's get to the probably the biggest issue I have with this episode, the finale. The whole finale was a music video. Now the song was great. Oh Julian, such a fantastic song. The Nelsons, I don't know who they were up until this show, are fantastic. I've actually listened to now one of the albums and I've enjoyed it. They're a great album, great group, great band. But the whole show was leading up to what happened on the boat. What happened in the boat between Harcourt and Chris. And we had one concert scene where they end up kissing. And then flash forward towards the end of the show, after they formed Checkmate, we have another expanded concert scene now with the O'Julian Nelson song playing in the background, the opening title scene with James Gunn in the far back. If you don't see him, like it's a blink, you miss the type of situation. But he's at his own, concert. He's hosted for his own show, having fun. Love to see it. Looked like it was fun, but it was two big concerts in a 48-minute long episode. I know James Gunn has great music taste. He has great needle drop moments. I feel like this season kind of overused the needle drop. Kind of like how, and I hate comparing creators and visionaries and ideas, but just like Snyder uses the slow mo in the Hallelujah song, like overuses it. Seems like Gunn is doubling down on his needle drop moments, and I hope he hears the criticisms and he holds back on it. And I guess I have one last minor complaint slash not a complaint. Eagly apparently is the one true eagle, the leader of all eagles, which was a side story that we see in the mid-season point of the show. Hilarious, funny, stupid, random stuff. It never gets brought up again. Him being the master eagle, him being the eagle, the chosen eagle, was just a fun one-off, but we never see that come into fruition again, which is weird. I feel like they were building up eagerly to do something big, and he was just kind of absent in the finale. There's no action in the finale. There's no real stakes outside of him being thrown into salvation. I think this season, or should I say this episode, will be held more favorably if certain story arcs are picked up in other projects and are expanded upon. I have a feeling, I know James Gunn said he has a secret project he's working on. I have a feeling that's a Checkmate TV show. And I know now we're doing a Salvation 1 comic arc via the DC Universe. So those are definitely going to be picked up on. I do hope we get more stuff with Ely. I do hope we get a better breakdown on what's going on with Flag Senior and why he made a 360 turn. He's now working directly with Lex Luthor, so that should bring in some very interesting, very unique, I guess, storylines coming down the future. But overall, I think the season up until episode 8 was probably like an 8.5. I was enjoying it up until the finale. Finale, probably like a 5.5, 6. Great acting, great story beats, but an inconsistent storyline and inconsistent finale comparison to the overall story and the overall season. Did the Gunn Jam? Is James Gunn still, the king of comic books? I think he is. One bad episode does not take back from one great season. Hell, two great seasons. I still say season 2 was great, outside of a finale. I'm excited to see what happens with the DC Universe. I do hope we get that Checkmate show coming down the line. I do hope we get more information on Salvation. And I do hope, I know that he did say Rick Flag Sr. is going to have a big project and a big role down the line. I hope that big line answers a lot of the hidden questions, the pieces in between Creature Commander, Superman, and Peacemaker Season 2. There's still a lot of time jumps that we need clarification on. Why did Senior now want to hate or have a lot of disdain for superhumans, metahumans? A lot of things need to be answered, but overall, I enjoyed season two. I know I focused majority on the things I did not like with the finale, but there was a whole 7 episodes that I enjoyed thoroughly. So one bad episode does not take away from one full or one great season. This is more like an epilogue, an extended epilogue. Season 7 was more of a finale, which is fine. I just hate the fact that I have to wait for future episodes or future projects to answer my questions. Let me know down below. Did the gun jam for you guys? Did you guys have any issues with this season or this finale? Did you guys like this season? Was it what you guys were expecting? Did it go a whole different route? Since we had the big cow and the big aliens and the butterflies from last season, this is a little more grounded of a season outside of the whole Nazi universe. We don't talk about that. But let me know down below. Did you like the season? Are you excited to see what happens next? Or do you think James Gunn needs to listen to the criticism of the fans? Let us know down below. Like, comment, subscribe. But if you have anything, if you want me to review or watch anything, let me know down below. Thanks.